Hello guys. Okay, I believe that it is better now. Hmm? Okay, I hope we can comfortably see what I'm doing right now. Okay, I think my network is better right now, and the quality should be much better too. So technical, is it better now? Okay, am I live? Okay, please can you drop a comment for them? Apologize for them to them. So just apologize for the network issue. Okay guys, so if this is better, please let me know. My team, they're actually working on making sure that we are giving the best. So technical, are we better now? Okay, so we're good to go. So for the other live stream before we went off, we had finished working on the blemishes on the face, which this was our before. Let's just zoom this in. So this was our before, and then this is our after. Before and after. So the reason why, like I said, I use the empty layer so that I'll be able to see my before and after. Yes. To, yes, to my screen. Okay, sorry guys. So we're back to my screen now. So if you can see my screen clearly, please let me know. Technical, are we good to go? We're good to go. Good to go, good to go. Okay, all right. So I believe we're good to go now. And it's a bit clearer now. Technical, right? Thank you. Okay, so I just finished working on my blemishes on her face, and this is my before and this is my after. So if you look at her forehead, we have just done a little bit of that, and I will do that a little bit of that again. So I'm just going to add. Okay, so I know it's in the cursor. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my blemishes. Let's do finish up on the blemishes, and I believe we're good to go before and after. So I just get that back to Photoshop. Alright, is the quality better now? Okay, thank you. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is fix this hair, and I just did a selection of the outer part of the hair, and I will still pick up my clone stamp tool on a new layer, and then I'll pick up my clone stamp tool, and I just want to quickly fix that. So let's just go all the way to 100 on our flow and our settings to current and below, and then I will just want to open my brush a little bit, and I'll hold my alt, and then I will want to just brush to be able to. But before we do that, let's just go back a little bit, Ctrl Z. I would also want to feather this selection so that it won't look too hard. So I just use 2 and I'm good to go, and then I want to pick my clone stamp tool, and then I select on the layer, and then I just brush to make sure that I fix that blemishes. Okay. So I'm using my clone stamp tool right now, and I will soon be done with the outer part of her hair. So I'm good with this hair, and I think I've done some adjustment to the hair. Later I will still want to touch this to be able to make the hair look a little bit, possibly with liquify, but for now I will stop there, and then we'll start up on our frequency separation. Now I would explain a little bit about frequency separation. Frequency separation is the separation of your colors from your texture, which your colors are called your low frequency and your textures are called your high frequency. And this is made possible by frequency separation, separating these two, and if you're able to combine them, you get this one. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to merge. So I would hold my shift control alt E to merge a new layer from all that I have done, and then I'm just going to duplicate on it. Today I'm going to work non-destructively so that we can see our before and after and all the processes we have gone through to get the result we got, or the result that we are getting. So I'm just going to go over to my filters. Now notice that I turned on the visibility. I turned off the visibility of my high frequency, so I'm just going to name this high frequency. So I'll name it FQ, and I'll name this my low frequency for identification sake. So I would select on my low frequency and then turn off the visibility of my high frequency. And the next thing I'm going to go is I'll go to my filter, blur, I'll go to Gaussian blur. Now note, the higher your blur, the more texture you preserve. Now when adding your blur for frequency separation, okay, someone just made a complaint that he is not seeing my screen clearly. Technical, who is that? Please, can I check on the person? So, okay, Rozak, okay. I believe we have fixed that and it is much better now. So you're welcome, Rozak from Malawi. You're welcome, bro. All right. So while I want to add my first texture, a lot of people would send me several DMs saying that each time I do my frequency separation, my skin is soft. Now, this is a problem that you actually brought upon yourself because the amount of blur you choose when you started your frequency separation was lower that it took away so much of the texture from the high frequency. So at the end of the day, while brushing, you had brushed away the texture since you were having a lot of it on your low frequency. So straight to the video now. When I want to pick my first blur, I would want to increase this to a point where some certain amount of texture is being preserved, is being taken away from my low frequency. Now note, like I said, the amount of texture that is being taken away from your low frequency is preserved in your high frequency. So let's go for 5.2. Okay, I like this. I like 5.2, and I'll just click on OK for my Gaussian blur, and I'll come over to my high frequency and I would turn on the visibility of my high frequency, and I will go over to image to apply image. On my apply image, I will see some settings here which I would have to change. Not all, just a few. The first setting I will have to change is my layer. I will change my layer from merge to my low frequency. Remember, I named it LQ, so I will select on my low frequency, and I will leave my channel the way it is, the RGB where it is. Then I'll come over to my blending. I'll change this blending to subtract. When I change it to subtract, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my scale to 2 and my offset to 1 to 8. So for those of you that are fond of using your actions and fond of using Retouch Academy and all, and don't know how to create your frequency separation layer, this is a quick one on how to create your frequency separation layer. So once I'm done with this, I'm just going to click OK and I'm good to go. Then I would come over here where you're seeing my mouse right now. This is my blending options, and I'll click on it and I'll go over to linear light. Right, we are on linear light. Okay, so automatically I've been able to separate my texture and my color. So I would say congratulations to us because we did this together. So I hope you're following along. If you have any question or you feel that I am going too fast, please drop a comment and let us know so I slow down a little bit so that you can also catch up and follow up on this tutorial. Okay, so I'm just going to select on the high frequency and the low frequency, and I'm just going to group on it. So let's just also group this. So I'll hold my shift and then just select, and then I'll group this. So this is like my background. This is my background group. This is my frequency separation. So let's just call it FS. Alright. So now if you notice, these two layers were able to form this background group here, right here. So we are on track. If you're not getting the same result, then you have to go and check on your settings and get it right. So back to the video. I'm just going to add a new layer. Now, like I said, I would want to work non-destructively for the sake of everyone that is not used to this, and I would be telling you reasons why most of the times I use this method. And if you love this method, you could also try it. It works magic every single time for me. So quickly, I'm just going to pick up my mixer brush tool. I'm going to show you how to set up your mixer brush tool also in this video. So I'm looking for my mixer brush tool. Okay, it is right here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to turn this off if this was on. To check your settings, if you're new to using the mixer brush, you want to check your settings. I'm just going to change this width to 2. I'm going to change this low to 40. I'm going to change my mix to 40. I'm going to change my flow to 40. Now, if you're wondering why I used this setting, I did a detailed video on understanding your mixer brush setting. So please go over to the channel when we are done with this class and go check that video out. It's a perfect guide on what these different figures means and these modes they mean. Okay, now back to our retouching. Now we want to start retouching. Understand something. On every subject, you get to see where the direction of light is coming from. Now let us just sample this. Okay, Picture News Studios, watching from Ghana. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. All right. So I I just picked up my mixer brush and I'm on the empty layer. Now, after I'm done with that, for me to be able to work on my new layer, on my empty layer, I'm just going to tick on this sample all layer. Without us ticking on this sample all layer, we can work on the blank layer right here. And once we intend to work on the blank layer right here, we would have to off the high frequency. Note that your sample all layers would sample from any visible layer it can see, and would want to use it to apply on the new layer. So since we are not wanting to brush the texture, we are wanting to fix the color, then we don't need the texture, so automatically we would have to off this. Now this is an advantage to us, and I will show you why. Okay, I would start brushing right now. Now note where the lights are falling, the direction of light. Now looking at this, we are having our shadows here, we are having our midtones here, and then we are having our highlight here. While you brush, you would want to stay on this tone. Especially these settings I use are very essential, especially if you're starting up with your mixer brush and you're looking to do this in a gradual way, because at the end of the day it gives you a control over your brush. Except you are one of the pros out there, you can as well use bigger settings on your mixer brush and move your brush in different directions and you still get it right. But when you're coming up, let's use this. This is a good setting to start with. So I will start brushing. So I will start from my shadows. So you will patiently just want to brush and see changes. Now see the way I slowly brush, staying on my tones. Okay. Yeah, Timan from Gombe, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to brush on this. So you would see how I would patiently brush until I see a blend. Now, note one thing: when you're brushing on your shadows, you brush on your shadows. When you're moving over to your midtones, you try as much as possible to brush in between. Let's say you brushed your shadows, you brushed your midtones, then you come in between your shadows. Let's say your shadows and then your midtones, you come in between them and then you brush to cause a blend, to cause this even transition. Are we good? Okay, so let's just see what we are doing. Okay, let's see a before of that. So see how little by little we are causing change to the face, and we are not destroying the structure of the face. We're just taking our time. So you just want to take your time and do this. Okay, so I'm just going to brush over here also. So try as much as possible to respect where your lights are falling, except you're trying to cause a change. That is an intentional change. But when you're learning, you want to just leave your lights the way they are. Then with time, you'll be able to manipulate your light. So that's another beautiful part of your mixer brush. You can actually move your tones. So unlike when you're using the selective method, you just want to select and then just add your blow, and it just gives you what you already have. But with your mixer brush, you can actually move tones. We are not doing that today, except it is called for. Today we are just going to be blending and see how this could also work magic for us. Okay, so I'm just going to brush. So most of the times when you walk this way, you just want to go and then zoom out and then see what you're actually doing, if you're crossing the line or if you're still on track. And the beautiful part of you offing your visibility is that you're able to, of the visibility of the high frequency, you're able to see where you have worked on in detail and where you haven't. So I'm just going to touch this lightly. We might come back to it if we notice that we should, but for now we're good to go. So now this is where the technical work comes in. A lot of people would brush and as well brush in the eyes and brush in the nose. So let's take our time and do this. So I hope the quality is quite better. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to gradually brush on this. These are very sensitive areas that you don't want to rush up on, unless at the end of the day you might have issues with them. So for those of you that love textures on your image, was the reason why I went for this amount of texture. So for this image, I believe it wished that we had used a lower amount of blur. But as far as you understand this, you should be able to do well. So for those of you that would get this image later, if you're looking to get this image, I already uploaded this image in one of our videos that I did a tutorial on for this particular image. I think here retouching. So you can go check the download link there and just download this particular image and practice. So it is already up online. You can as well. The last tutorial I dropped on high-end skin retouching. The link is just there to download this image. So in case you want to practice along while you watch this, you can as well just do that. So now I'm just going to want to zoom out a little bit because it is looking as if I'm doing some magic here, which I am not. I'm just doing photography retouching. So it seems there's a difference between a photographer and a retoucher. So it's not everyone that is a photographer that is a retoucher also. So if you are also a great retoucher out there, you are a general, plenty respect to you and to your office. Okay, now there is a small challenge here. I noticed an issue while I was brushing. My tones were moving rapidly, like with the speed of light. Now there was a change in my wet. My wet went all the way to 100. I don't know how, but it seems maybe someone touched something, or maybe I touched something. Okay, so the quality currently is pretty amazing. I'm happy now. So if you want the download link to this image, check the last video I uploaded on high-end skin retouching. The link to these images are there. I already uploaded it. So I think that glitch that happened affected us a little bit, but we are not far from where we should be. So we'll just continue for the worth of time. So wherever you're watching us from, if you're just joining us on the stream, please do well to introduce yourself and let us know where you're chatting us from. Can you share that to our Facebook page, please? Share that to our Facebook page and then possibly my personal page on Facebook. Okay guys, so I'm just gradually brushing, taking my time to brush on all of this. So I hope you're following along. Please ask me questions. If I'm too fast, you let me know. We are working on this together. If I wanted to work on it alone, I guess I would be in my office with my system doing that all alone. God no go shame us. We're back. So network is better. So we are just going to continue on this. Let's just take it gradual. Let's not rush it. So I would just want to brush this, and most cases I would love to blend these eyebrows. So because of that whitish look I'm having there, I don't want that so much. So the roughness of this lady's skin is much, so we would not want to do too much. Though we have to do too much to be able to get the result we want. Because at the end of the day, we might not achieve that beauty that we want to achieve. How many people are watching? 6. Okay. So please do well to share this live stream, and if you're just joining us, please drop a comment, let us know, introduce yourself, and let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know where you're watching us from. So I'm just going to take my time, and then I would want to get it right. Okay, let's see before and after. Alright, so we've been able to blend that skin for the face. Though I'm seeing some things I need to correct, which I would have to. So now the beautiful part of me offing my tone, my high frequency, is I can see my colors very well. And if you notice, I'm seeing this color looking deeper than this area here, and so at the end of the day, you can do a lot with your. So I will just increase my brush, and then I'll go back and then blend it. Most of the times, you want to cause a blend, you want to use a bigger brush, right? You want to use when you're at first you're brushing, you want to use a smaller brush to guide your hand, guide everything. But when you're blending, there's the first part of frequency separation, which is brushing, and the second part, which is blending. So if I'm trying to blend this, I'll have to. And then the beautiful part of using the empty layer is, if I eventually made a mistake, let us say I made a mistake somewhere around the cheek here. Now I can as well just pick up my eraser tool and delete on that place I felt I made a mistake, and then pick up my brush and then just brush it back. Sorry, we have to turn on the texture layer and brush it back without having any issue to worry about, because if I did not do this, I would have needed to delete the whole frequency separation, because you cannot control Z. Possibly you had done this area since and you just noticed the error. So let's just go back. I think I'm good. I just don't want to brush that again for the worth of time. So we're good. So let's just take our time and then we brush on the neck. Now this is a very, very technical area. You don't want to flatten the neck and make the neck look like sacrifice to the gods. So you just want to make it look almost romantic. I don't know how we can do that, but God help us. So I'll just quickly want to brush on the neck. So please, if you're just joining us, let us know and where you're joining us from, where you're watching this live stream from. And apologies to everyone that joined us since 7 and we had to go offline to just make sure that we fix both the network and everything to be able to come back better and stronger. So for anyone that was here and that have left, please, you're free to invite them back, because we are back better and stronger. So just take your time and brush on this. Don't worry about the neck, it looks beautiful indirectly. I didn't say anything. No. So thank you, Mary Ann, the model that allowed us to use her picture for this tutorial. She's one of the hottest models in Calabar. She wants to burn down Calabar, but our God is alive. Okay, yes. So we just finished that. Okay, we're able to do that. Yeah. Let's see before and after. So I think we did some trespassing, which we can still, that's the beautiful part of your mixer brush. You can still maybe, let's off the texture, sorry. Restore it back a little bit. So we're good to go. So once I'm done with that, I don't want to do too much there. I'll just come here. Then I want to fix all of this area also. Don't worry about other things here. We would do, there are other methods that we can use to blend the skin to be able to match with the face. That's the neck and the body and everything. We would have to do 1802 to be able to do that. So the Dawn image chatting from Enugu State, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, why I'm retouching in the middle area, I believe possibly you're just joining us, Brown Wazi, and you're watching us from Togo. Okay, all right, and your Sunshine KC Sunshine Studios watching us from Anambra State. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I would answer this question before I continue. Now, the reason why I'm brushing on this empty layer is because I would not want to create a new frequency separation layer all over again if I tend to make a mistake. I can quickly just pick up my eraser tool and just delete on the areas that I feel I made a mistake and still go and brush on it again. Remember that it is an empty layer. So I'll just show you what this looks like alone. This is what it looks like. So I just carved out the color on this empty layer. So if there was need for me to take off one or two mistakes I already made, it's just for me to just delete, pick my eraser and delete on that layer and still come back and brush on it without any issue. That's the first part. And the second part is it allows me to see my colors on their own without being blinded by the texture. So at the end of the day, I can blend them evenly without having any issue. So let's just do Ctrl Z because I will not want to brush this area back again. Ctrl Z. I would want to get back. Okay, sorry. Let's see. And we okay, we're good to go. So that is why I use that empty layer in the middle there. So, but you can as well still go back and use your normal retouching brush on your low frequency separation layer, no problem. But you would have to turn this off to be able to turn on your visibility and brush. If you turn this on, you have to turn off your high frequency layer visibility, unless you will be having textures, extra textures, because it's sampling not just from your low frequency layer, it's sampling from your high frequency layer to brush. So see what happens here. If I turn this sample all layer on and I turn the visibility of your high frequency, see what happens here. It brings in the texture from your high frequency and applies it on your new layer. So if you must use an empty layer to brush, then you would have to turn on your high frequency layer. So let's just turn this off and continue on our retouching process. So please do well to share this, and don't forget, if you're just coming in, please introduce yourself so that we meet you, and I will do well to acknowledge you. So my technical team, they are watching every single thing right now. So if there is a question, it will be brought to my notice so that I can attend to it. So we are also open to questions. We are really behind time. This was not what we anticipated, but we are happy that we are able to do this. Okay, I don't get what you meant, Brown Wazi. Most of photographers using, what do you mean by that, please? Okay, so back to, let's just brush on this. Joel, close up on the studio. Okay. I'm just going to carefully brush on that. So let's get back to the face and see the places that we didn't really touch on. So I'm just going to carefully touch on those places, reduce my brush all the way down, and then pay attention to those minute detail that maybe I didn't pay attention to earlier. So details like these places. So that's one good thing about me turning off my visibility. Okay, all right guys. Okay, voila, we have been able to brush on our skin without brushing it into her lips or her mouth, or taking away her eyes because we are brushing. And we did it together. So I'm just going to blend on some areas that I feel are not okay. I need to even out. So I'm just going to go through them and then just watch them out and then blend on them. Right? We're just going to blend on them. So we are live from Taraba State, Jalingo, Nigeria. All right. So we are good to go. We have been able to finish up on our frequency separation for our skin. And the beautiful part of this is you can actually divide your frequency separation. Now, if I were to say I wanted to do my frequency separation on my face, I can actually do the frequency separation on my face and then create a new layer, work on the body differently, and if I need to, I can reduce the opacity either for the body or for the face, depending on what I want to do. So you see why I would always choose to use an empty layer over working on the original layer that we have for our frequency separation. And it's also good to the extent that we can as well just delete on the layer and create a new layer, and we start all over again without any issue of any kind. So that is one of the reasons why I choose my empty layer. Okay, so I don't want to cry. I cannot go and do frequency separation again. So let's go Ctrl Z. Thank you. My heart. Okay, yes. So we are back with our frequency separation. Now, I'm just going to do one quick thing before I continue. We initially did our frequency separate, our blemish removal. We are also going to do our blemish removal again. Possibly, maybe there were some blemishes that when you removed initially and there were some that you left behind, you can as well come to your texture layer. Remember, this is your texture layer, so it preserves all your texture that you're having on your image. Okay, I'm seeing some comments. I'm trying to... Okay, black and white are for those using dodge and burn. Many a times that is brown wazi, and yeah, pro graphics. Thank you so much for appreciating our work. Max Studio, you're welcome. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay. I think you should switch to technical. You said what? You should switch to 720. Okay, you should switch to 720. Your settings to 720 so that you can see this the stream clearly. So change your settings to 720. Okay, all right guys. So the next step is taking away the other blemishes that we initially did not take away before starting frequency separation. So let's just do that quickly. So I'll just create an empty layer again, and then I'm just going to pick my clone stand too, and my sample will be current and below. So let's just do this. So I can as well just reduce this all the way to 43 is fine, and then I would want to sample. I hold my alt, I'll sample, and then I just cover it. Gradually, let's just cause some good changes. Some good changes, not the other change. Nigerians will understand. I didn't say anything, Sha. Okay. All right. We are good to go. So I will just want to still fix these lines. Now, why I pay attention mostly to these lines are because you get to see these lines on old people, and we know very well this girl is a very young and pretty girl, so we will not want those lines looking too pronounced. It can be there, but it shouldn't be pronounced. Okay, what's that? Okay, so let's just so please share this live stream, share this live stream, share this live stream. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the love and the plenty support. So we're just checking up on our blemishes, those big guys that would want to give us headache tomorrow. We want to take them off. So I would just want to do this. So let's just want to fix that. I don't want let's reduce the flow a little bit again. I just want subtle changes. I don't want too many changes. So that's what I don't want. Okay, all right. I believe we are good to go. So let's see before and after, before and after. Okay, I think I would have to delete on these areas here. I didn't really get it right there. So let's just delete on it. So don't fear, don't be scared of going back. Don't be scared of going back. To get it right, you would have to make some mistake and then correct yourself. Okay, sorry, I need to pin my clones down too. So let's see. So I just want to lay low. I don't want those to be coming after me, coming after my life. So let's just turn this off. I think I need to do some other fixing here and there. So let's pick up our mixer brush. Then I need to brush some areas here, pay attention to some area. Even most of these colors, if you don't brush them, you will not really enjoy the outcome of them. Since you had brushed the rest of the skin, you have to look for a way to go through them. This is you. That is why when you work on stuff like this, you have to pay attention to a lot of details, or else at the end of the day you will not get that great result that you should. Okay, all right. Whew. Okay, let's just carry this a little bit here. Okay, I believe that we're good to go. Let's just see before and after. I need to check something. Click on. Okay, are we having a question? Okay, all right. So once I'm good, The next thing I want to do is I want to take care of do my skin toning, which is very important because of the neck area. And then, so what's skin toning? The matching of the skin tones. I want to just quickly match the skin tone. How can I do that? I'll pick up my brush, my normal brush tool, and then I would hold my alt, and then I would sample on a color. Now most likely I would want to go for a color that will give me the tone I want, an overall tone that will help the image pop. So I would hold my alt, and if you notice this point here, the colors will be changing. So if you don't have this circular arrow indication, not to worry, you can as well still use the order to guide yourself. So I'm just going to pick from a color that I feel will give me the best for this image. I'm looking for a color that is not too light and is not too dark, right? So let's come to, okay, I think I'll use no, not that. I need let's look for that. Okay, I think I will use that. Let me just see what that will look like. Okay, this. So the next thing I'm going to do, I can just click on this and then just move it a little bit to my desired result. Okay, I think I'm good with that. I don't want it to be too dark, lest I would not get what I want. So let's just see the brush. Okay, we're good to go. We will be able to blend that. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce my flow all the way to 3. 3 is fine. And then I'll create a new layer. So I'll just name this layer skin toning. Skin toning. So I'll name that to skin toning, and then I will now quickly want to brush. Now it's not just the neck that is having that issue. A lot of the parts of her face is having that same issue. So I would want to just brush here and cause a blend. So if you notice, you see how it is blending right now. It's blending. So now we'll just come here, and then now as well, we'll now do plenty of the work. You can do plenty of the work. So in case the ads come up, please just skip the ad and let's just continue. But if the song is sweet that the art is playing, just dance. Before you come back, we must have finished the particular part, so don't dance too much. Okay, back to the video. Okay, so I'm just going to brush on those areas that I noticed some skin changes, like this area here. I just want to even out the skin tone. So you see what that is doing already. See how it is blending the skin, because I was able to patiently pick the right tones for my skin. Okay, so I don't know how we are going to rush this up, but this class should end at most by 10. So wherever we stop, I believe we would try our best to be able to meet up. Wherever we stop, we would. If you would love to have us have this kind of sessions, you let us know in the comment section too, the chat zone. Of course, later, not now. Every chat right now should be about how we are doing right now and what are the issues we need to fix, questions we need to answer to solve your puzzle. Okay, so we have been able to fill this image and make it look even. But if you noticed, if you're noticing this with me, the body is not is not really giving us what we want. It's not giving us what we want. So now at the end of the day, it's just looking all flat and looking rubber like. So let us get back our shadows. Our shadows have disappeared. Let us get back our shadows. Now operation get back our shadow. I'm just going to double click on the skin toning layer. Let's double click on that, and then the layer style will pop up. Once the layer style pop up, I have no business with the rest of the settings here. What I have business with is the blend if. Now I will leave my blend if at what it is, and then I'll leave this layer. I'll come to my underlying layer. Now when I move this to my right, I'll get to see how my texture, how my shadows and my tones divide, and my midtones divide. Now this is moving your blacks to your whites. So as I move it, I get to see how they divide. Now I don't want it this way. I would want these tones that I just added to blend with my shadows to be able to still give me the original shape of the image. So I would hold my Alt and click on one side of this and separate it and bring it all the way down, and see the way we're able to blend this. So let's just take it up a little bit and then to this point here. So let me show you what that was able to do. Before after. So it revealed the shadows, meanwhile still retaining the skin toning we did. So let's go before and after. Okay, yes, Brown Wazi, thank you so much. And DJ Domi Teaser, thank you for your kind words. We are humbled by your appreciation. This English hard will be like I go switch to my language. Anyways, okay, so we just finished skin toning, and another thing we can do is we can just quickly even out the skin tone quickly by just picking a solid color. Let's say a color from what we already selected, right? And then just click OK on it, and then I'll click soft light, right? And I'll just reduce this all the way down. So you can reduce this depending on how you want it to be. So let's do before and after. So it just gives us that even skin tone throughout the image, but I just don't want it throughout the image. I want it on the skin alone. So I will invert this, and then I will brush on the face, on the skin, sorry, just on the skin. So throughout the skin, I'll just brush there to give us that even color throughout the skin. Okay, once we're good with that, I think I've perfectly done that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my dodge and bone. Now we are done with frequency separation layers, and under the frequency separation layer we did skin toning. Let us take our skin toning up. Let's not leave it down, because I believe that these textures have some colors embedded in them, so I would still want to also fix those colors. So let's just name this on a new layer, on a new group, sorry. So I'll just name this group skin toning. I don't know what that is, but it is what I wrote. All right. And by the way, I'm a Calabar boy. So for those of you that don't know, okay, all right. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to do our global dodge and burn. And I will show you how I do my global dodge and burn, how I set it up, and then how I do my global dodge and burn. So stay with me. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go pick up my curve under my adjustment layers, and I'll bring my first curve all the way down, right, to this point, and I would just want to invert Ctrl I, and I would still go get a curve layer again, and I will just invert on this also. So this is our bone, and this is our dodge. So for those of you that use actions and use Retouch Academy and don't know how to create both your frequency separation layers and your dodge and burn layers, I just showed you how to create them. At the end of the day, I'm actually using a new system. This is not my system, and I don't have any actions anywhere. It was just a 9-minute decision. I had to change system. So at the end of the day now, there is no action, there is no extra on this system. So for the fact that I can create all of this is an added advantage to me, to say that I can pick up any system anywhere and I can work with without any actions or Retouch Academy. So you should learn this. These are very basic essentials that could help you in the time of distress. Yes. Okay, I'm just going to quickly brush on this. But before I do that, I want to bring up something that I use to identify my highlights and my shadows. Remember, during our frequency separation, by doing your frequency separation, you have automatically taken away some part of where you're having your shadows and your highlights. So when you do your dodge and burn, you're now trying to restore those areas that was flattened during your frequency separation and enhance your shadow. So for this tutorial, you would burn your shadows and dodge your highlight. I say this again, you will burn your shadows and dodge your highlights. Now, I introduce this black and white. Why? Because I want to see and identify where my skin tones are falling, where my shadows are falling, where my highlights are falling. So I'll just come down to this red and I'll move this red all the way a little bit down here. All right, so are we good to go? Okay, so now by moving this red down, if you've noticed, I'm seeing my shadows clearly, I'm seeing my highlights clearly. So if I just want to brush, it's just to follow the guide. But once in a while, it is good you turn this black and white layer off so that you will not misfire. So I will just go pick up, let's take this a little bit backward, not too much, right? So I will just want to do this and all. So let us see what this looks like. I'm just going to dodge. Just going to dodge on my white and burn on my darks. So let us burn first. Let's see. It can burn. So I'm going to change my setting now. Remember that my flow is 100 and I'll still, my opacity I mean, then my flow I'll change it all the way to 3 should be fine. So I just want to brush here. So let's carry it down to 2. 2 is perfect. So let's burn on our shadows. Okay, so I'm just burning. So technical, are we having any questions? Please go through the and let me know, please. So let's see what we did now. Before and after, before and after. Alright. Alright, we good. We good, we good, we good. So you should take your time and follow your shadows and your midtones and your highlights and all of that. For me, I'm trying to work with time. I would love this stream for us to be done by 10 for the worth of time. For the worth of time. So, shout out to the guys that just joined us. I'm trying to rush this up. Okay, I'm able 124. Thank you for your kind words. And BSG dancers, thank you. Okay, watching from Tanzania, you're welcome. You're welcome to Nigeria. Okay, all right. So we're good to go. Okay, so we are done with our bone. Let's just do some dodge. So let's just off. Most times I would love to off my I'm just going to brush on this. Now, and I just offed my frequency separation layer to be able to see the direct light source and where light is falling from. So I'll just follow along and not miss out on where my light is falling from. So I'll just want to touch on the lips. So let's just do that. And then make sure that your hardness is on 0. You're using a soft round brush. Okay, so we just finished dodging that and burning that. So we don't want this guy to be too much. So let's just reduce this a little bit. So we're good to go. I won't do much because for the world of time, but we've been able to touch on essentials. So someone said it's looking good already. Is it true? It's looking good already. Please let us know what you think. Okay, so this is before, after, before, after. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly, I think I would have to fix the eyes. So one quick way we could fix these eyes. Now, like I said, I'm not creating, so you can as well delete this black and white once you're done with it. You're not using it for anything. Let's just delete this black and white layer. So we're good to go. So now for my eyes and teeth whitening, I said I'm not using any action, so I'm going to be creating everything from start to finish. So I'll go over to my adjustment layers and I'll click on my hue and saturation, and then you can as well use black and white. I'll use my hue and saturation, then reduce it all the way to at least 83 is fine. Minus 83 is fine, or minus, yeah, or thereabouts is fine. So I will just want to invert this, quickly invert this, Control I, and then I will let's just turn it on. We'll use groups. Since you're using group, let's use groups for today's tutorial. And then I'm just going to add my brightness and contrast. I'll increase this all the way up a little bit, all the way up, and then take this a little bit to add that contrast in the eye. Yes, and then I'm just going to select on the boat, and then I'm just going to okay, now this is like a beginner's masterclass. Now, nothing much in detail. We would hope to have this again, maybe a much more detailed class, but for now we'll just have to make sure that we touch up on everything. So I just group that, and then I mask it. So Ctrl G to group, and then you smash this icon here, and then it masks your group. So if you hold Alt to just invert it, or if you already click that and you want to invert it, just do the Ctrl I. So I will just want to brush on the eyes and bring up the eyes, and then I'm just going to come over to the teeth. For the teeth, I will not want it to be as white as the eyes, so I will just reduce that. Then I'll just take my brush and want to bring up the teeth. So just take your time, take your time. So take your time. Okay, technical, how are we doing? Please check the live stream. Let us know how we're doing. So this is our first ever live stream on YouTube. Okay, so I will just want to, once I'm done with this, how many persons are online? Okay, okay, all right. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying in the stream or on the stream. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm still having this warm tone, so I would add one filter more. I'll go over to photo filter and I will add the blue filter. Right, so see how the blue filter is the game changer. It gives us this white looking image. So you can as well just let's just see if we can desaturate this all down, see if we are going to get better results. And then let's see if we can reduce this opacity right here. Okay, so I think this is much better. Okay, this is much better. Okay, someone just commented that we promised free loot, and yes, sure, we will get them, but that is for those that are able to stay to the end of the class. So if you're able to stay at the end of the class, I'm going to drop a link. I'm going to drop a link to how you can download them and where you can download them. Okay, alright guys, so now I didn't really get a total blend. There's something I need to work on right now. I just noticed the skin right here is not really giving me what I want on the face, so I'm still going to come back to my skin toning, and then I'll do just one thing here. I'll pick up my selective. I think the video that covered for my skin toning, I touched these three, so I would use them here. I want to bring up that. So let's just invert this and see if we can get this down part glowing and having that result we're looking for. So let's see. 4. Okay, I think it is much better right now. Yeah, we're able to do that. We're able to do that. We're able to do that. So I'm gotten an even out skin. So now let's grade. Now for me, I feel light skin is easier to grade. Right? It's just 1 or 2. Okay, let's take a little break. Let's take a 5 minutes is much. Let's just take a 2-minute break and recap on everything that we have done. And share with our friends this stream. So I'm just going to get us. Let me take water. Okay, hello guys. Okay, all right guys. Quick one. Let's just try recap on everything I have said. And I'm sorry for that box that is showing on the screen. I'm actually using my Canon 5D Mark III to view this, so that box would have to show. So for now, I just wanted us to see face to face. Okay, so I hope the little lessons we have touched on. First of all, let's recap. Let's go back. Let's reverse. We have touched on our camera raw. We've touched on our camera raw. So for those of us that missed on that, that was on our first stream that went bad. So how to process on camera raw and then take it to Photoshop, and then in Photoshop we have actually done a lot. We started from blemish removal and then fixing the hairline, and then we now went to frequency separation, we now went over to skin toning, we went over to eyes and teeth whitening. We also, I think we also touched the dodge and bone method, the dodge and bone, the global dodge and bone. So all of these were topics we touched along the line. So we are going to just go back to our class. But if you have a question, can you just take time and ask a question? Any question you have right now, I'm willing to answer before we go back to color grading and wrap up for today's class. So I'm waiting for questions. You can throw questions at me. And for my friend that asked about the loot, we are working on the link right now, and it will be sent to us for those of us that would be part of this. Till the end. Okay, if you can rewatch this, possibly you can rewatch this. So I'm waiting for questions. Can you throw questions at us? Let's get to answer your questions and clear your doubts. So if no questions, I guess we'll just continue. So like I said, I'm Greatness from GMAX Studios, and respects to all my boss out there that have been doing this and are doing great in the business of photography. We're just trying our best to impact our world in the little way possible we can. So help me, God. So thank you for staying, thank you for watching, thank you for joining us for this live stream. Okay, so back to Photoshop. Let's go back to Photoshop. Let's go back to Photoshop. All right. So we just finished working on this image, and it is looking pretty amazing already. Okay, so I'm going to just, for the background, you're going to look for a way to fix the background for the worth of time. In our next class, I have tutorials online. You can check out our tutorials online on how you can actually change this background and make it look what you have. Either you're using a PNG background or a texture background or whatsoever, to just fill in something else, some flowers background, to just get that beautiful looking background for the image that will blend in. So the next thing I'm going to do is we start to grade. Now the first thing I would want to do is, I'm looking at the skin. First of all, this looks like a light skinned lady, so I would want a grade that would be able to pop her colors out and make me appreciate her skin tone. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick And all the grading we are going to do today would be directly on Photoshop. Directly on Photoshop. So let's go color lookup. Right? Okay, I'll go over to color lookup. I'll select color lookup, and then I'm just going to my 4 colors. Now for a light skinned person, you want to change these 4 colors to either color or saturate. Now why I love using saturate is it helps to bring the different colors out. It helps to bring the different colors out. It doesn't just give us this one film. Now notice that if we take it to normal, notice especially on these lips, see the difference. When it's on normal, that warm tone is just all over the image. It doesn't differentiate it. But when we go over to saturate, see what happens. It pops all the colors evenly, right? So as I reduce this, I've already gotten that pop on her skin. Then I can as well, if I want to, I play my selective a little bit. Remember, she's a fair lady. Just a little bit. And let's just bring that depth, reduce the blacks a little bit. So let's take this before, after. So most of the time in grading, just little changes can get you to where you want to go to. Just little soft changes can give you what you're looking for. You don't have to move it all the way all the way to left and move it all the way to right to be able to achieve what you're looking for. No, times just little changes can be the game changer you need. So you see how it pops that image and brings that life to the image. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to my color balance, and then I'll just add a little bit of my midtones, add my yellows, my reds and my yellows. Then I would add a little bit of the green. Then for my shadows, I will go over to my blues. I will add the cyan, a little bit of the cyans, and I'll add a little bit of the blues to give me, so these blues fall on the shadows. This time is best you have blues on the shadows. So see how we are already bringing out details, and then we come to a highlight and we just want to pour that blue and this cyan, and then maybe a bit of this on her skin. So see how we're able to cause that change, right? What do you guys think? How is it going? Okay, it is pretty beautiful. Okay guys, so once you're done with that, you just go pick up the photo filter, and then you're going to just go under your photo filter. You're going to get the cooling filter T2, and then you reduce it all the way down. So you see how we have been able to bring out that glow. So now let us just group this and see where we started from and where we are, before and after. Then you can now do maybe some other manipulations, like picking up your selective. If I would want to enhance maybe like the hair, the other colors, I can as well just want to play with boosting up this color, so I'll just pick up the selective and then just move things up a little bit. Okay, let's carry it down here. I want to boost the hair, so that's the way I was able to make those colors pop in the hairs, in the hair and other area. So let's just do this. I'm just going to invert this, right, and then I'll just go pick up my brush. Remember, white reveals black height. Okay, I think that something is okay. Then I'll just brush on this. You can as well brush on the lips if you would want that to be revealed on the lips. So you can carefully just do all of these colors, just pick them individually, run selector, or run anything you want to run on them. So the next thing I'm just going to do is I would also want to reduce the saturation of this image so that it doesn't look too shouty for us. So I would just want to merge this. So my quick and final step is I'll just take this. Now there are a lot of things that we can still do to make this image better, but for the worth of time, we are not just going to go dive into all of that. There are still going to be time that we are going to touch all of this, but for now, for the sake of time, we won't go too far. So let's just go to our camera roll. Joel, how far? Okay. All right, and we are good. And then once I'm done, I'll just come here. And then for those of us that would want to add more sharpness, you can come over to your detail here and then just add a little bit of your sharpness. 40 should be fine. And then you hold your alt. If you want to see where your sharpness are falling, you hold your alt and move this all the way. So I just want it to be on the edges. So remember that white reveals black height. So where the blacks are, that's to say the effect is not there. Where the whites are, that's where the sharpness I just added will be applied on. So this is a quick tip on how to get it right. Okay, alright guys. So for a light skinned person, most of the times I would just want to touch a little bit of this to give me that extra glow. So before, after, and then in most cases I want to reduce my saturation. So I can as well just come to my color mixer and then I can just boost my colors. So like my blue, if I want to boost it, just like to affect my eyes, and then I could as well just come here boosting. But you would have to carefully do this. So this is like what I do to my final image before I export it to just give me a blend. So most times I just come to add to my shadows right next to it. So before, after, and then I'll back to this basic. I want to give it a little boost and saturation, desaturate the image a little bit. Okay, and then we're good to go. Then I click OK. Then I export it. Now, but before you export, in most cases, sometimes you want to pay attention to the hair. And there is something I learned recently. or something I learned recently that I could share. But possibly a video I'll do tomorrow would be on that. I'll show you guys how to use I'll just double click on this color range. This color range, I found out this secret recently and it's been a blast for me. It can help you select a color or isolate a color very easily without brushing or masking. Just by selecting, you can isolate a color. So it's been like a game changer for me, and it takes a lot of work stress off my shoulder. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to export, save for web. This is where I save my image. So I'm just going to change this to JPEG. So let it just load. So we are wrapping up on this class now. Wrapping up on this class. Okay, it has opened. So I change it to JPEG and then I'll leave it at maximum. My quality, I'll leave it at 100, but I'll just change this to 2400. So we're just helping Instagram so that they won't. But remember, at the end of the day, it will affect the size of your image. So if you leave this at 100, but in most cases you can leave this at 60 because it's still best for you. At 60 will still give you what you want. At 60 is still perfect. So you can just change this quality to like cubic sharper if you want more texture on the image. Right? So you just click save and we're good to go. So that was how I retouched the image that you've been seeing. Or this was one of the ways. So though I had to fix some part of the hair and some other things I needed to do, some detailing, which for the world of time we weren't able to touch on. But in our next class we'll do well to touch on all of those things. So we have come to the end of today's tutorial. So let's just sit back and then relax, and if we have questions, please can we ask our questions? Can we ask our questions? Okay, so can we ask our questions? If you have any question, please can we ask our questions? Okay, for now, since we are having no questions, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. I remain your host from Jumax Studios. Till we see you again, remain creative.